Hi honeys, it's Michelle. In this video, I'm just sitting down to have a little bit of girl talk with you. There's just been some things that are on my mind that I felt like talking about. There's this whole narrative I keep saying about fat is healthy, and I'm proud to be fat and all that kind of stuff. And as you know by now, I've been going through the process of losing weight and getting in shape and getting healthy. So I guess it's pretty clear that I don't agree with that, or I wouldn't be bothering, right? How I feel is if you feel healthy and you're fat, shoot, I mean, more power to you. I have a hard time understanding how that's possible. For me personally, I don't feel healthy fat. Especially I hate in the summers, I feel like so much hotter than I did when I weighed less. And my knees and my hips and my back hurt. My ankles hurt. I mean, I have a lot more soreness and joint pain than I did when I weighed less. And it's just a lot of extra baggage to be carrying around. I guess I just wanted to share my story a little bit because I feel like if you are a thin person, maybe you should hear the first part of this video. And if you're not a thin person, maybe you should hear the end of the video. And the reason is at the beginning, I wanted to talk about how I became fat. And at the end, I wanted to talk about how I'm losing weight. And I think it's important to talk about these things. I mean, and it's not that I want to just sit here and talk about myself all day or anything, but obviously that's the kind of conversations that I have with you. I talk to you, tell you everything about me, and then if you want to respond in the comments, you can, but obviously we can't really talk back and forth until I can do live videos, which I don't have the subscribers yet to get there, although my subscribers have been going up quite a bit lately, and I'm excited about that. Before you know it, we'll be at 1,000 and we'll be doing live chats every once in a while. The reason I wanted to talk about how I got fat is I feel like skinny people are very condescending towards fat people about being fat. Well, just lose weight, stop eating quarter pounders, and go to the gym, and I get it. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be where I am if I didn't eat quarter pounders here and there. I probably would lose weight faster if I went to the gym every day. But there's always a but. And that's part of what I wanted to get into. It's just how I got here and how I'm getting out of being here in this situation of being the size that I am. I think I might have mentioned this before. I will never be a petite person. When I'm at my ideal weight, when I'm at the weight where the doctors think I'm healthy, I'm usually a size 12, and I'm happy with being a 12 or a 14. I feel good at either size, but that's where I'm at. So I'm still a plus size lady, even at my thinnest. I'm never, I guess I'm what you might call big boned or something. I don't know. I just don't get smaller than a 12. I did have one point where I started getting to a 10 when I was a dancer years ago and ballet. I felt like I was getting too thin a little bit at that point. Okay, how did I get fat? What happened? I would say that when I was younger, a teenager, I struggled with my weight. And I think most of the time, if I struggle with my weight, it would be, you know, oh shoot, I'm a size 16 now. I need to get back down to a 14 or something. I didn't really get fat like I was until I want to say 5 years ago. Yeah, somewhere around 5 years ago. I had an illness that, well, we didn't know what it was. All that we knew was that, not to get too graphic, but with my female cycle, I was bleeding anywhere from, sometimes I'd have a regular period, but then a lot of the times I would bleed, 15 to 20 days a month, which was so exhausting. Then about 3 years ago, it got to where I would bleed 25 to 28 days a month. So that 3 days a month was my only reprieve, my only chance to try to feel somewhat normal. It's exhausting bleeding that much. So with that, I got very weak and I got anemia. Now, when it gets to that point where you're dizzy and you're cramping and you have anemia, the energy level just goes down very far. It reminded me of I had had mono as a child. That's what it felt like all the time, though. I just didn't have any energy. It got to where I was at home all the time. When I wasn't sitting at my desk at work, which is not very active, I was on the couch or sleeping. I just became very idle. It got to where, especially the last 3 years, it got to where I didn't have the energy to cook even. Just being so dizzy all the time. It's just I couldn't do it. So I was eating a lot of fast food, especially at dinner. I was eating fast food, or we were going out to dinner, or we were eating frozen pizza or something. So it wasn't the healthiest diet. A lot of the food I had at home was healthy, but if you're eating fast food for dinner every night, does it really matter how healthy your lunch and breakfast is? Not really. It got to a point where I was so weak and tired and just tired of feeling that way. I didn't have a diagnosis. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I got tired of, when you if you've ever had any kind of illness and the doctors didn't know what it was, it kind of almost, for me anyway, it made me not want to be around anybody, because it gets to this point where everybody's like, well, I've never heard of this. And they look at you weird. And then, well, have you tried this? Well, what about this? What about that? And it just gets to where people feel very nagging. Like literally everybody that I would be around felt nagging. And it got to where I was just tired of hearing it. I was tired of getting those looks. I started thinking people thought I was a hypochondriac or something, which I'm not. I just didn't know what was wrong. And I just got so tired of it. And so I stopped hanging out with my friends. I had no social life anymore. But on top of just being tired of hearing about it, I just didn't have the energy to be around people. Like that. I'm really more of an introvert, so for me it takes a lot of energy to be outgoing and to be around people, to present myself to them, so to speak. I don't know how else to word that. I just didn't have it in me. I just couldn't. And so I kind of lost a lot of my friends. I wouldn't say I lost them. I mean, if I sent them a message right now on Facebook, they'd respond. We're still friends on there. But me not hanging out with them, I think they took it kind of personally, and it had nothing to do with them. I was just really going through a tough time. And that's just not acceptable to people, is it? Especially if they're not going through these things. And then most of my friends at the time were thin, and they were very judgmental about my weight. And how do you explain that to somebody who's never had a weight problem? Ugh, right? So it got to where I was wearing loose clothes. I had my hair in a bun all the time. I know it's in a bun right now, but I mean, all the time. I never had makeup on, like right now, but all the time. I guess the first thing that started to pull me out of that funk was YouTube, oddly enough. It was you guys. Well, whoever was actually watching all the way back then. Probably not many of you, but still, you've all been here along the way at some point, or maybe this is your first video, which I hope not. This is a random one to start out with me on. It started pulling me out of my shell and getting me more in a social mindset being on YouTube, and my self-esteem and confidence started going up after wearing nothing but baggy clothes for so long. I thought, oh, well, this will be fun. I'll do a couple in the dressing rooms because I need some clothes that are just a little bit more form-fitting and a little bit more confident. And I'll get some subscription boxes. And that'll be that. It'll just be fun to share it. I had no idea at the time that you guys would enjoy seeing me try on clothes and hearing my opinion about clothes and enjoying the way I put clothes together and all that. I had no idea that that was the direction it would take. So it's just been very fun, and I have blossomed a lot because of my YouTube channel. So there's so much worth in it. I know a lot of people say, well, you don't get paid to do YouTube. And it's like, yes, I do. I mean, I don't get money for YouTube. Maybe one day I will. But the psychological benefit alone has been well worth it. I know if my page gets too much bigger, I'll probably start having people that aren't very nice on here. But I'm prepared for that. It's just being able to have these online friends, and I don't know. It's been really wonderful. When I got here to Vegas, I decided to obviously go to a new doctor. Not that I was unhappy with the one that I had. It's just I actually really liked the one I had, but the one I have here is epic for me. So I got a diagnosis about 3 months before I left. I finally found out what was wrong with me, and it's something nobody's ever heard of. If you're bored and you want to look it up, it's called adenomyosis. 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 It's rare. Very few people have it. It's like PCOS, but not. And I believe that that's why I have gained all this weight. Just the pure lack of energy I've had from all the bleeding is what I think really caused it. So my doctor has been doing different things to treat it and to help me. I was told I needed a hysterectomy, and she has been able to help me avoid that. Now, one thing I really like about this doctor, she's not judgmental. She said, well, of course you would gain a bunch of weight having this. Of course you would have no energy. You're anemic. How what, are you supposed to go to the gym? Yes. Yes? I don't know. She said that I'm not allowed to go on a diet. She wants me to change the way I eat, though, but in a way that's manageable. So all that she really told me was she wanted me to go on start eating foods that are high in iron, low sodium. She wants me to eat cream of wheat every day for breakfast, which I really didn't like at first. Now I really love it. I've got used to it, and I like the way it makes me feel. It's got really high iron in it, and that's why she wanted me to have it. And it's working wonders. She also wanted me to eat an orange every day, and things like red meat and turkey and spinach, stuff like that. She said otherwise it was really up to me how far I wanted to take eating healthy, but she did not want me to go on any diets or take any of the diet supplements or any of that kind of stuff. She said that, with the health problems that I have, I'm just too sensitive, and she doesn't want me to do all that. So the last time I weighed myself, I had lost 22 pounds. Pretty sure I've lost more than that now, though. I think it's more like 30 at this point. I just need to weigh myself, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But when it comes to losing weight, I guess the first thing that I did was I decided that it was time to stop judging myself. Not to embrace or decide to love this body, but to accept that this is the body that I'm dealing with. When I gained that weight, I got so judgmental of myself and so angry with myself. I would look at people with what I thought was a nice body, and I would get mad at myself for not looking that way, for not having the ability to be that or have that. And I realized that until I accepted what I have to work with, I wasn't going to feel like I deserved to lose weight, because I'd be so mad at myself. You don't deserve anything. This is why we don't have nice things, because you gained weight, Michelle. That kind of stuff. That's what I would say in my head. I decided to accept my body, and I decided to love my body in the sense that it does, in fact, function, and it functions correctly. My heart is beating while we're talking, and it's doing it the way it's supposed to. My lungs are functioning right now. Everything's working the way it's supposed to. And I do love that, and I do embrace that. But I do know that it could function even better if I got this weight off of me. When I got my diagnosis, that's around the time that I started dressing better, and then I moved out here, saw this doctor, started working on how I could get my energy level back. Then I started wearing makeup more regularly, just putting my best look forward regularly. And that does wonders for a woman's self-esteem. And it just made me feel so much better about myself. And I found that when I did that, people responded very well. It turns out if you have a cute outfit on and your hair looks nice and you have makeup on and you're smiling, a lot of people don't really care how big you are. I don't think. I mean, granted, I didn't ask because I don't care anymore. But I found that the response I would get from people was better. I made a conscious decision to be patient with my body. Being patient with my body means accepting that I'm not going to do anything overnight, and I'm not going to lose the weight overnight. I'm not going to get healthy overnight. I'm not going to eat healthy overnight. I think that's one thing that a lot of people fall into is they try to do too much too soon. If I turn on the TV and there's some weight loss reality show on, people will be working out 3 hours a day at the gym and eating healthy overnight. And I don't believe, for myself anyway, that that is sustainable. I know myself. I know myself very well, obviously, and I just know that that's not possible for me. I have decided that I'm going to be patient with myself and give it time. I'm not running a race. I don't have to lose all of my weight in a month or 2 months or 6 months or a year. I have time. I didn't gain my weight overnight. I'm not going to lose it overnight, and that's okay. So, a big thing for me has been yes, I want to eat healthy, but I'm not going extreme with it either. I'm not going to completely change everything I eat. There's no way I could do that long term. But what I am doing is now that I do have more energy than I used to, we're not going to fast food anymore. If we do, it's maybe once every week or two instead of every night. I know it's embarrassing, but I need to hold myself accountable and tell you. So we're eating at home, and while what I'm cooking at home, it feels so good to be cooking for us again and thinking about our health and what kind of nutrients we're putting into our bodies. But I will say, a lot of health nuts would look at what we eat and say that it's not healthy. But I can guarantee you that it's healthier than eating fast food. There we are. And that's a baby step thing. I'm eating healthier than I was. Maybe not 100% healthy. Would, I don't know, Jane Fonda agree with what I'm eating? Probably not. And that's okay. I'm eating a lot healthier than I was. And I'm probably going to just keep eating healthier and healthier over time. But it's all about baby steps. As far as going to the gym goes, I'm probably not alone on this. I still feel too big to go to the gym. And I don't know why. When I have gone, nobody's sitting there staring at me, but I feel like they are. I can't get it out of my head. I just don't feel comfortable going in there yet. I mean, I guess I felt like the message when I first had really got overweight to the degree that I was, where I was a size 20. I couldn't even find workout clothes in my size. And I know if you're fat, you know what I'm talking about. It's hard to find now, and there's a couple brands where you can find stuff, but even then, it's hard to find. Well, back then, 5 years ago, it was really hard to find. And to me, the message was, we don't want fat people here. We don't want fat people in the gym. We want you to already be thin when you come in here. Or maybe fluffy, but not fat. We don't want fat people in here. That's how I felt. And I can't get that message out of my head. And then I thought, well, maybe it's not a good idea to go from being completely idle to going to the gym 5 days a week. Maybe that's too much to just go from here to here overnight. What I'm doing is baby steps with that as well. And I am losing weight, so it must be working somewhat. What I'm doing is, and this has just become because I had become so inactive. Now that I'm feeling more peppy, I'm doing little things like if I go to the store, any store, I will park further away from the front door so that I have to walk further to get in there. Then when I get in the store, I will walk up and down every aisle, even though I might only need things in 3 aisles. I do this so I have more steps. I'm burning more energy, or I'm burning more calories. I'm being more active. I've also been going out for walks, not like a stroll, but a high paced walk. And I find that seems to be helping too. But I'm being patient with myself. I don't feel up to it every day, and that's okay. And I now I want to clarify, if I'm feeling lazy, if I would rather just watch Housewives of Atlanta or something, I'm going to still go for a walk. But if I'm feeling lazy because I'm bleeding right now and my anemia is bad, okay, then I will stay home. There's a difference between feeling sick and feeling lazy. I'm also going out of my way to do more cleaning around the house, just anything to get me up and moving. I'm burning more calories and I'm being more active. And the more I get used to being active again, the more those growing pains of being active again start going away, the easier it will be to actually go to the gym and work out. And then the other thing that I'm doing, which I think is really helping with my energy level and everything, I just have more activities. I have different groups I have joined, different things I go out and do. And now 3 days a week, I am leaving the house after my workday is over and going out and doing things. I'm interacting with people. I'm making friends. It's a whole other ball game than just sitting at home on the couch all the time. So if you have weight that you want to lose, if you, or even if you don't need to lose weight, but you don't feel healthy and you have no energy, I hope something I said helps. You just have to be really, really, really patient with yourself. You just have to accept that this is me. This is what I have to work with. And I have to figure out the best way for me to get better, to be healthier. If you're happy physically with your body, that's great. No matter what it is that you are trying to improve about yourself or your life, just remember to be patient with yourself. We live in a time where everybody expects themselves to be perfect and to have no flaws. And the truth is, that's just not realistic. We all have flaws. Even the people that you think are perfect, they have flaws too. Like Brad said in that video where I was asking him those questions, and he's right, by the way. Cindy Crawford was the one that said that she wishes she looked like Cindy Crawford, but she really doesn't. It's just all the makeup and the lighting and all that makes her look the way she does in the pictures. And of course, now that she's getting older, there's all this stuff on YouTube about, oh yeah, look at her without Photoshop. And it's like, she doesn't look like she looks in the pictures. That's all I'm saying. None of us do. And I don't know, our society is way too hard on people for having the nerve to age, even though we're all human, or having the nerve to have flaws for that matter. Well, I hope that you liked this okay. I just thought it'd be fun to sit down and chat with you guys for a while. All right, bye.